Mighty Goose is a run-and-gun shooter reminiscent of games like Mega Man and Metal Slug, but does it fit the bill as an action shooter, or is it a bit of a lame duck? I couldn't help myself. Hey guys, it's Cody with Indie Game Pulse. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to find the best indie games and hear genuine reviews from an indie game fanatic like yourself. Let's get into it. Thank you to the publisher Playism for sending a review code my way. I'm actually going to start with what I would normally say at the end. Mighty Goose is a good game, and I think you'll probably have fun if you pick it up and play it. But it doesn't do everything perfectly. We'll talk more about that later, but for starters, Mighty Goose does have a lot going for it. An eye-catching pixel art style full of explosions and cool cinematic cutscenes, lots of gigantic multi-stage bosses, and a variety of fun companions and NPCs to find and befriend. You start out as a lone wolf of the galaxy, an intergalactic bounty hunter with a pistol and a dream. And you fly between missions in a ship which looks like a derpy pigeon. With the help of your pal Chonk, a rabbit, I think, who calls you prior to each mission to brief you on your objectives, you'll begin to tackle each new area. These objectives are actually pretty simple, and you could really play the game without paying any attention to them. As you proceed through each level, a wide variety of bug and mech enemies will confront you, and in classic run-and-gun fashion, sometimes waves upon waves will just keep coming. And this is where Mighty Goose really gets fun. When you're blowing up 20, 30, 40 bad guys in a row, trying to dodge bullets and avoid taking damage, and then the screen starts filling up with all the ludicrous explosions from your guns. The graphics are really incredible, if a bit confusing at times, but the chaos is all part of the experience here. If you do lose some health along the way, there are randomly dropped medkits to be found by killing enemies, so you just have to take more calculated risks the more damage that you take. If you do die, you'll be reset to an invisible spawn point a little earlier in the level. These respawns never felt unfair or frustratingly long. There are a few different guns that you can find throughout the levels, ranging from your standard pistol, you can actually turn on auto-fire in the menu if you wish, to a machine gun, to a shotgun, to some more exotic weapons like a rocket launcher and a Tesla gun, which creates a line of electricity, shocking everything along it. You can also, from the barracks in the main menu, take along a secondary weapon. At the beginning, all you have is your honking beak, which does nothing but maybe intimidate a small child, and you gradually unlock more, like throwable bombs or an all-consuming pillar of fire. These have different cooldown times, which can be shown in the top right of the screen while playing, as the logo slowly becomes shaded in. And in the top left of the screen, you can see the Mighty meter, which upon filling, you can tap both triggers to activate, and it strengthens your current weapon and makes you invulnerable to damage for the duration. The more damage you do while it's active, the longer it remains, so there is a little strategy to it. At the end of each stage is usually a giant boss. I'll only show one or two of the early ones so I don't spoil much. But after you finish the level, you'll see all your statistics like time to complete, number of kills and deaths, and your best combo, and then you'll be given a completion rating with S being the highest tier. However, the requirements for reaching S tier are not shown anywhere, and it's a bit confusing too. It's not solely based on completion time from my experience, because I completed one level with my quickest time and only reached A tier. My next completion was actually about 30 seconds slower, I think, but somehow I was awarded the S tier. So it's some combination of time, kills, and combos. In my opinion, some tangible requirements could really help push new players to reach the higher tiers, but at the same time, reaching S tier gets way easier later on. More on that in a minute. So that's the basics of the story and gameplay, but there are a couple more topics to tackle before we wrap up. There is a barracks section at the main menu wherein you'll find all the companions that you have met and unlocked in each level, and equip one of your choosing. You can also choose from different upgrades to equip with a cost of 20 to 50 energy, adding up to a total of 100 spendable energy. Some of these are pretty typical, like the double jump option. One seems an homage to Mega Man with the chargeable blaster, and then even more are inventive, like the VARC CRT, which is a flying TV monitor that sends out a bullet every time you attack. One more thing you can choose here is the secondary weapon that we talked about earlier. Really quickly, before we get to the loosey-goosey portions of Mighty Goose, I will say that the game has a ton of character, and especially fun little animations and cutscenes. From the first time you crash land your space pod and announce your arrival with the royal trumpet, to the silly animation of looking down the barrel of your blaster when sitting idle for too long. The developers have done a fantastic job of making your Goose fun and memorable, and I really enjoyed those little touches. So let's talk about the parts of the game that feel a little lackluster to me. Firstly, the weapons. There are only 4 to discover throughout all of the levels, and while they are fun to experiment with at first, ultimately they get a bit boring, especially when playing for 4 to 5 hours for 100% completion. I would have liked to see a bit more variety here, and I guess the same goes for the amount of levels. I played through all the levels in about 2 hours, and then I did them all again to reach S tier, and then there's a New Game Plus that you unlock to reach 100% completion, but the levels are all the same, just with more enemies added in. And that's my final issue with the game, the lack of difficulty. For New Game Plus, I breezed through every level at S tier on my first try. I don't know if I found an overpowered combination of abilities and companions, but the increased enemies didn't even faze me. In fact, I think I actually died less in New Game Plus since I had earned better upgrades. This really needs to be more difficult, in my opinion, to keep the game feeling rewarding for those who stick around for the challenge. So the question is, should you play Mighty Goose? I actually do recommend it, but I would also recommend waiting for a sale. Like I said, the game does have a lot going for it, especially its funny and action-packed animation style, frenetic gameplay early on, and fun power-ups and companions to discover and unlock. But over time, it starts to fall a little flat, with little variety in the weapons and playing the same levels through again and again. Make sure to leave a comment below and let me know what you think of Mighty Goose. Thank you very much to my 908 subscribers for your support. If you like what you see here at Indie Game Pulse, consider helping us grow by supporting us on Patreon. For more top indie game countdowns and reviews, check out the videos on your screen now, and I'll see you on the other side.